Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Inspired Messenger Show. I am your host, Mark Porteous, author of Maximizing Your Human Experience and co-founder of the Inspired Messengers Network. You can join the network for free at inspiredmessengersnetwork.com. You'll get wonderful calls like we're going to have today every week, and there's all kinds of other resources there to help you with our mission, which is to empower you to share your gifts with the world. We believe that you have a very important message, and we want to help you to get that message out into the world. So today I'm speaking with my friend and mentor, TR Garland. Wall Street Journal Award winner TR Garland has turned the common challenge of low-cost, high-targeted lead generation into a systematic and replicable process for any speaker, author, coach, consultant, trainer, and workshop seminar leader to follow, so they can dramatically increase the number and consistency of high-quality clients that they receive. And this is the same case no matter what experience level that you are, what income level, or wherever you are in the world. TR's signature Leveraging LinkedIn program is recognized as the world's first and only program dedicated to teaching speakers, authors, and coaches how to use the world's largest social networking platform to help you fill your workshops and webinars, fill your sales funnels, grow your email list, get more speaking gigs, get more high-end clients, increase repeat clients, increase your JV partners, sell more books, attract nationwide press, establish your authority status, shorten your sales cycle, and increase your conversion rates. After almost a decade of high-impact roles as a behind-the-scenes strategic advisor and brand monetization expert for many of the most envied 6, 7, and even 8-figure brands in the speaker, author, coaching space, many call TR the ultimate industry leader because he has worked with, done deals with, and masterminded with whom many consider the top 50 most recognized legends and leaders in this industry. His success stories range from working with Brian Tracy, Loral Langemeier, Michael E. Gerber, Napoleon Hill's Think and Grow Rich brand, and even the 8-figure brand Business Networking International. Yet, he hasn't let his massive success take him off track from what matters most. And we'll be talking a little bit about that today. Today, he's focused on using his unparalleled, unrivaled experience to serve and support emerging speakers, authors, coaches, consultants, trainers, and workshop seminar leaders. Today's TR is often caught saying, "I refuse to let the business side of the business burn out good people, or even worse, bankrupt them." It's most likely for this unique perspective that Inc. magazine printed that he is today's most relevant relationship marketing expert because he's in touch with how people conduct business today. And it's also one of the reasons why I'm so excited to share his knowledge and wisdom with you today. So here he is. Hello, TR. Welcome.
How you doing? Great to be here.
Well, I'm really, really excited to have you here. I want to be very upfront. I'm in your LinkedIn program right now and absolutely loving it. And I'm really excited to share some of the pieces that you've given us. And it's amazing how much you can pack into the just the 2 short programs that we've had so far. And just to start off, I want to kind of get to know you a little bit better. And I've known you for about 2 years. And last year we had the opportunity to spend some time together at an event. And we got to talk about the real important things in life, like family, friends, and enjoying your passions. And you shared a picture with me of you way back in the 80s when you were in a hair band. You actually, I asked you if it was okay if I talked about that, and you said not only can you talk about it, I actually have a picture of that. And
I do. You ready for it?
Let's see it.
All right, let's screen share this bad boy. And give me a second.
Sure.
That is my beautiful wife, Anne, right there. My beautiful daughter, Abigail, who is turning 7 in the summer. And wait for it. There we go. Hopefully you can see it on your screen, right?
Yeah, we can. Let me white box you so we can see that again. I rocked the rocker look.
That was that picture was taken when I was 19 years old, and it was about a month or 2 prior to me cutting all of my hair off. I had lived in the heavy metal world, the hair band world of the late 80s, early 90s, And, we're all a product of our society. And at that time, I really, really simply enjoyed being out there, being the center of attention, and in a way, serving the audience by giving them pleasure, by being the lead singer of a band.
Well, again, I think it's really interesting because we were talking about our passions and what mattered most in our lives. And you talked about your joy of music, and most importantly about your wife and daughter. And that's what really motivates me, is my children and my wife. And so it was really fun to have that common bond. And it's an interesting story, but I'd like to hear how you went from a hard rocker to being considered one of the leading experts in the transformation industry as far as marketing, and especially conscious marketing for inspired messengers.
Well, that's a great question. And first and foremost, let me go back about 3 to 4 minutes. Naturally, I'm honored by you reading my entire bio, for your viewing audience and for your listening audience. However, let me correct one thing. At the end of the day, my life's journey has been my life's journey. I've gotten experiences along the way of which I've extracted the good lessons as well as extracted the bad lessons from this life's journey. And that has positioned me to be someone that has the talent, that has the expertise, that has the experience to serve emerging speakers, authors, and coaches. Yes, I've worked with very, very large names like Brian Tracy, Loral Langemeier. I'm the former executive vice president of Michael E. Gerber Companies during the 25th anniversary of the iconic book, The E-Myth. As a result of that success, I was with the Napoleon Hill Foundation during the 75th anniversary of Think and Grow Rich. And right now, I've been asked by the iconic marketing brand, Guerrilla Marketing, to help them relaunch that brand because J. Conrad Levinson passed away 2 years ago. Now, I share this with your viewing audience not to impress them. I share it with the audience to impress upon them that Mark has me in his network and has asked me to share my success stories and my failures, the lessons that I've learned that have allowed me to go from here to here. Because this interview today is not about me, and respectfully to you, Mark, it's not about you either. It's about the viewing audience and how you can and I can have this interaction back and forth and help them get from their point A to their point B. So to summarize and directly answer your question, Mark, at the end of the day, I simply have been someone that has decided to live out his passions. As a preteen, I really got into music back in the day. And I was listening to the cassette tapes, right, in my cassette recorder. My brother was the one in the family that got the very first CD player, but I was listening to cassette tapes. And at one time, I had over 1,000 cassette tapes, and most of them were heavy metal and hard rock. And so I just ended up living out my passion by, through my teens, growing out my hair and saying, I want to be like that. I think that I'll get satisfaction from being up on stage and sharing my creativity with others. So fast forward 15, 16 years, there I was realizing that I was in the audience of an event that had Brian Tracy and Stephen Covey and Jay Abraham and Bob Proctor and Mary Morrissey. And I said, this is my passion. I spent about a decade and a half with corporate America, and I was wildly successful in sales, but I felt like corporate America or the Fortune 1000 companies, that they weren't congruent with my belief system. So as a result, I chose to leave something that didn't feel right for me, and I kicked and scratched and realized that's my passion. My passion is learning. My passion is being a better person. My passion is being true to myself. And as a result of following those 3 steps, I've looked around and realized that I'm at the top of the personal and professional development industry.
Well, I love that. I love that you took the time to go back, because when you talk about your first of all, your successes and your failures, but most about your passion and your experience. And I want to help people to understand that their experience is a big part of aligning with their purpose. Everything that's happened to us, all the things that have happened in our life, kind of paved the way for us to be able to live our purpose. And the fact that you got excited about that up on stage, I felt the same way. When I first got introduced to the transformation industry, I was like, wow, I want to be a part of that. So again, it's just another piece of how we are so much aligned in what we share in common. So I know that you've got a lot of experience in marketing and doing marketing strategy, but right now you've been really focused on the LinkedIn piece of it. And I'm curious, with Facebook and Twitter and all the other ones out there, why you see LinkedIn as the best way to market for inspired messengers to get their gifts and their message out into the world.
Well, that's a great question. Thank you very much for asking. And what it does is it allows me to share my perspective, my honest, straightforward, authentic perspective on what's happening in the speaker author coaching industry, right? For people that desire to be a messenger and have their message be heard. So realistically, I would like to share 5 M's with your audience. That's M as in Mary, 5 M's. So please grab your pen and paper right now. I'll give you a couple seconds, and I'm going to share with you a 5-step process to actually monetize your relationships. Because at the end of the day, at the center of success of any speaker, author, coach, workshop leader, trainer, consultant, seminar leader is relationships. And people forget that. People forget that the revenue is in the relationships, right? I'm often heard saying that I'm much more about the relationships than I am about the transactions, right? So first thing I'd like your audience to write down is the revenue is in the relationships. And the second thing I'd like them to write down is, and the relationships are on LinkedIn, right? I mean, to really simplify everything, the revenue is in the relationships and the relationships are on LinkedIn. Now, let me state very, very firmly that LinkedIn, in my perspective, is not social media. LinkedIn is actually a social networking platform that allows people to cultivate relationships. So therefore, my background and experience working with BNI, Business Network International, working with BNI headquarters, being partnered with Dr. Ivan Meisner, the founder of BNI, and having him as a mentor for 5 years, and quickly becoming, a relationship marketing expert, that suits me well to take my speaker author coaching industry experience, couple that experience with my experience and recognition as a relationship marketing expert, and also couple that with the lessons that my life has taught me, the good and bad lessons. And when you bring all of those together, then I ended up pulling together a program, an affordable program for inspired messengers to actually utilize LinkedIn to magnify and multiply their message. So before we move on, I want to go through the 5 steps to monetizing your message. So the first step is that you must first get in tune with your message. Now, I know it sounds simple, but I relate to that step in this process as your core connection. So step number 1 is message, and it equals your core connection. What lessons has life taught you that uniquely qualify you and only you to offer your amazing gift to the marketplace? So step 2 is market. So step 1 is message, step 2 is market. Now, some people refer to this as target market. However, I refer to this as your ideal audience, right? So if you master your message and you truly connect with who you are and why you're doing what you're doing, and you are proud as a peacock and you display that message always, then you are going to attract your ideal audience that resonates with your message. So step 1, message. Step 2, market, which is your ideal audience. Step 3, is media. And when we're talking about media, how are you as an inspired messenger strategically selecting what media you're going to utilize and focus to get your message out there? I happen to believe the strongest form of media today that allows people to leverage their time and reach the most people is using LinkedIn. So we've got message, market, media. And the 4th M is movement. So I teach people as a relationship marketing expert, I teach people how to amass an army of advocates behind you, behind your message, that resonate with your message, that have similar messages. And when you amass an army of advocates that are compelled to take action on your behalf, always and every time, then and only then is your message magnified and multiplied. And people, inspired messengers, inspiration is one thing, but inspiration will not always lead to success as a speaker, author, coach, workshop, and seminar leader. Passion alone is not enough. You need the strategies, and that's why I applaud Mark for inviting people like me onto this show so that I can be conscious, so that I can be aware, so I can lock arm in arm with you as your mentor and let you know message, market, media. They're all great tactics, but without the movement, you are carrying that message, that heavy load, all by yourself. So again, message, market, media, and movement. And once you get that movement, i.e., build a strong network, right? When you build a strong professional network on LinkedIn, that is your army of advocates. And therefore, your message is magnified and multiplied. And we ultimately get to monetizing your message. So message, market, media, movement, and finally, monetize your message. And the easiest, most cost-effective way to do that today, Mark, is on LinkedIn.
Well, that was a very thorough answer to the question. So thank you. We'll go back and look at all those different steps. I also do want to let everybody know that we're going to be talking about your program. This is not a sales for your program. We're going to have a special bonus. There's no offer or anything else. This is just information that people can actually implement right now to make a difference with their message. So you start off talking about message, and I'm very clear on that, and understanding your market. I love the way that you talked about your ideal audience rather than target market. Target just sounds like such an offensive kind of a thing. And then you said movement, and that's really what we're talking about today. So the idea about creating movement, I really want to me, that reminds me of the be and the doing. There's always that balance of being, but if you're not doing anything, then the being doesn't do any good. So I really appreciate that part of the M's. And then of course the monetize. And really the idea for me about monetizing is that if we want to be the best that we can be and to have a career where we get to share our message, we need to be able to monetize it. So it's just a perfect segment of each of the different M's that we need to do, and why LinkedIn is such a big piece of that. But maybe you can give us some more details about why you think that LinkedIn is you talked about it being a network or a platform rather than social media, and where Facebook, you go on there for family and friends, there's still a lot of advertising, a lot of marketing that's done on that. And we've had Facebook marketing experts. But I agree with you on LinkedIn. I just want to hear why you say that LinkedIn is such an important tool for messengers. Sure,
absolutely. And I'll relate this back to the life's lessons that I've learned. And one of the lessons that I've learned throughout my life is to listen to my messengers, or excuse me, listen to my mentors, right? And over the last decade, by being in the personal and professional development industry, you know, I have partnered with and been hired by people like Brian Tracy and Mark Victor Hansen and Loral Langemeier and the Think and Grow Rich brand, and the list goes on and on and on. However, I have also been mentored by them, and they are wildly successful. Many of them are 7 and even 8-figure brands. And what that means is the lessons that I've learned from my mentors are to understand the difference between low value tasks. Let me get my hand right. There we go. Woo! And high value tasks, right? Low value tasks and high value tasks. And successful people, successful messengers focus on high value tasks.
Right.
And there's a big difference on social media today. You know, Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, and even blogging for that matter, they don't get rapid and repeatable results. And we don't, as of the time of this recording, we don't even want to open up the can of worms about the people that have thousands, if not tens of thousands of Facebook fan page fans, and they're not even reaching 10% of those people. So they invested a lot of time and money building up that fan base, of which they do not own because Facebook owns that fan base, and they're not getting the results that they expect today. So again, it comes down to Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, and blogging on your own for that matter are ineffective solutions for me today. I do have an amazing wife. It's our 10-year anniversary this year. We've been together for 16 years. And I have an amazing daughter that turns 7 this year. And I'm sure that your viewing audience, Mark, has amazing families as well that they want to spend time with. So as a result of the desire to spend time and balance, have a work-life balance, I would go and focus on LinkedIn because that's where only professionals are. We don't have to post pictures of our family or what we ate at dinner or what concert we're at or that we're at the nail salon, right? Don't get me wrong. I am on Facebook. Please connect with me on Facebook. I would love to interact with you. However, when I am under a time crunch or when I want to be strictly effective in either gaining new prospects or gaining new prospective partners or gaining new prospective speaking gigs, then I go straight to LinkedIn. Because if most of the world is utilizing LinkedIn to conduct business, why aren't you going to LinkedIn to conduct business as well?
That's a perfect explanation. Again, that it is a professional network, so people expect that there. You don't have to do the family friend stuff to mask that you're really there marketing. You can just do the family fun stuff just because you want to share that and not focus on that as a part of your marketing. You mentioned about getting not just clients, but also partners and about speaking, which both of those are also a great...
Okay, there we go.
What's that?
You had your video and audio had frozen for 15 seconds, but I'm clear now.
Great, thank you for letting me know. So you had mentioned using LinkedIn not only to reach potential clients, but to reach potential partners, which is a wonderful way to find new clients, and new speaking gigs, which is also a great way to get your message out there. Can you tell us, and again, I know that you've got a great tool that you're going to share with us later on and how to get that, but can you tell us some ways that, some simple steps that people can do with their LinkedIn account, or maybe some things that aren't working, that, some of the mistakes that we might make, and how people can make some corrections just from listening to this video?
Sure, absolutely. Without this turning into a tutorial, because then I would need to switch and actually show computer screens, let me be as content rich as possible with my answers. So first and foremost, let me establish that LinkedIn, as of the time of this recording, has approximately 350 million users. So think of LinkedIn as this huge convention center. And as a result of it having all of this prime real estate in this convention center, they have gifted for free you, each and every one of you, a free booth at a business expo, right? So LinkedIn is this convention center, and it has 350 million booths that as of the start of the company, they were empty. They're empty booths at a business expo. However, there are 350 million people, of which about 60 to 70% of them log in every single day, and they are walking past your booth right now today. And I ask you the question. The question is, what are they seeing today when they walk past your booth? Right? That's a pretty eye-opening question for us to ask your viewing audience, isn't it, Mark?
It is. And I think about actually the image of being at this big, huge convention, and you see all these really beautiful displayed tables, and then you walk by a table that's just kind of got a tablecloth out on it and maybe a book or something, and you think about that image, and do you want to be that table?
Absolutely. And let's go above and beyond with the imagery. Maybe some people in your viewing audience haven't even laid down the carpeting underneath the table yet, right? Because we've all probably worked some conventions, and as a result of that, you know, our feet hurt, you know, for guys wearing some dress shoes, and for women, you know, my heart goes out to you. Standing in high heels on concrete convention floor is painful for your back. So you are not today making your expo booth welcoming for passersby. So realistically, the #1 mistake that most speakers, authors, coaches, workshop and seminar leaders make today when using LinkedIn is that they don't pay attention to their profile. Let me repeat myself. The #1 mistake people are making today is that they don't pay attention to their own LinkedIn profile. Because there are people that are walking past your booth and they're looking in your booth, and today all they're seeing is your name and some black and white text. And it's not captivating their attention. So as a result, they're walking right by and they're walking to your competitors' booths. I mean, I don't mean to be mean or negative, but the truth of the matter is, did you know that when someone Googles your name today to hire you to speak, to hire you as a coach, to hire you as a partner, right? When someone Googles your name, your LinkedIn profile shows up on page 1 of the Google search results, and most likely in the top 3 spots. As a result of that, these people that are searching to have you on their podcast or to interview you for a hangout like this, when they're searching for an expert, an authority in your field, and they click through your LinkedIn profile, today, you may be failing yourself. You may be failing your family by not paying attention to your LinkedIn profile. So what I'd like to do is go through my 3-step success system that I teach my clients on how to get results from their LinkedIn profile. Is that okay with you, Mark?
Absolutely. That's fantastic. Thank you.
Okay, excellent. Give me 1 second here. So what we want to do, step #1, please grab your pen and paper and write this down. Step #1 is building the ultimate profile. Building the ultimate profile. Step #1 in the 3-step success system for leveraging LinkedIn for speakers, authors, and coaches is building the ultimate profile. Now, let me explain that. Realistically, what we want to do is look at your LinkedIn profile as a landing page. Today, are you captivating the attention of the viewers that show up on your LinkedIn profile? And are you causing them to make micro commitments in blocks, time blocks of 10 seconds, 10 seconds, 10 seconds? Are they staying on your page longer than 10 seconds? 20 seconds, 30 seconds, 40 seconds. So you need to pay attention to your profile. Well, let me correct myself. You don't need to do anything. I recommend that you pay attention to your profile and create your profile as colorful as possible, utilizing images and media to draw the viewer in, keep them in your booth longer than 10, 20, 30 seconds, and cultivate and nurture that relationship. So step number 1 is building the ultimate profile, and you build that profile, you remodel your profile by using the appropriate trigger words and trigger phrases that will captivate the attention of the viewer. So step number 2 is called building the ultimate network. So if step number 1 is building the ultimate profile, step number 2 is building the ultimate network in the 3-step success system for leveraging LinkedIn for speakers, authors, and coaches. Now, what do I mean by that? If step 1 is the landing page or the booth, then we need to drive traffic to that booth. So building the ultimate network, what I walk my clients through in this phase 2, which is a 4-webinar series, I walk them through identifying who they need in their network, who they need in their professional network to assist them in achieving their future goals. So we map that out, we classify these people, and we have cut and paste templates on what to say to these people so that they become advocates, right? Building the ultimate network, step number 2 in the 3-step success system, is the movement portion of the message, market, movement, and media. Or excuse me, message, market, media, movement, and monetize. So step number 1, building the ultimate profile. Step number 2, building the ultimate network. And step number 3, building the ultimate conversion campaign. Building the ultimate conversion campaign is step number 3 of the 3-step success system for leveraging LinkedIn for speakers, authors, and coaches. Now, what do I mean by that? Well, we've got this booth, this expo booth. We've remodeled it. It captivates the attention of people. We've driven traffic to that booth in step 2, building the ultimate network. Now we need to understand the proven step-by-step sequence to follow to convert those connections into paying clients, right? We need to figure out how to be welcoming, keep those people in the booth so that they become and convert into paying clients or advocates or partners. So step 1, 2, 3, building the ultimate profile, building the ultimate network, and building the ultimate conversion campaign.
And that's really crisp and clear, easy to understand. You gave us some really good things to be able to add for our profile. Talk about using color and media. When you talk about the network and what people need to be in the network, are you talking about things like other mentors? Are you talking about other people that are good partners to do what you do? What goes into making a good network?
There are 10 key criteria in which they are categories that I would place an advocate into. I'm not going to share all 10 right now. However, if business is a battle out there, which I believe it is, even for conscious entrepreneurs and inspired messengers, business is a battle out there. And unless you come up with a battle plan, a plan of attack to compete against your competition, you're going to lose that battle. And you may be losing that battle today until you decide, until you choose to stand up. Stand up for yourself and stand up for your family and realize that there are conscious entrepreneurs out there like myself, like Mark's other guest experts, and like Mark that can help handhold you through the marketing aspects of your business. Now, I used the example of business as a battle out there because one of the categories that I place my professional network in is called an advocate, and they are my Rambos. R-A-M-B-O, right? Sylvester Stallone's movie, Rambo. They are my advocates, and their subcategory is my Rambos. So my Rambos take action on my behalf. My Rambos in my network have taken action on behalf of my message. So I categorize them as Rambos, and I treat them in a different way than how I would treat other people in my professional network, right? So would you like me to give a second category, Mark?
Absolutely. I feel like I'm one of your Rambos. I would definitely like to hear what your other categories are. Maybe I fit into them too.
Most likely, most likely. So we're utilizing the letter R. Everything is an advocate. So let's go right here. So it's always advocate hyphen Rambo, right? That's one of them. And advocate hyphen reporter, right? A reporter. So who do you know in your professional network that has the ability of amplifying your message, right? There are people in my network that are never going to be my client. However, they're an advocate and they're a reporter because they post on social media. They post on their Facebook, their Twitter. They might even record a YouTube video, or they might post on their LinkedIn something about my message. Maybe I'm hosting a webinar. Maybe I'm speaking at an event, or maybe it's just a quote of mine. So there's two categories that I place my professional network in: advocate Rambo and advocate reporter. And by being strategic about my professional network, I myself know exactly what to do on a daily, weekly, monthly basis, so I'm not overwhelmed with my relationship routine.
And that's such an important thing to talk about. The word routine might sound mundane, but building relationships, there's a lot that goes into it. And I know for me, juggling the difference between my partnerships and my clients, and just being able to do that, building all those relationships and then maintaining them, it takes a lot of strategy.
Yeah, I mean, that is another mistake that people make. They assume that because they are a human being and that they have relationships, right? They assume that because they have relationships that they are relating with those relationships and that those relationships are relating with them. And as a result, they assume that they know how to go out there and recruit their army of advocates. But the truth of the matter is many people are failing at establishing medium and long-term strategic partnerships. We could call them joint ventures because a lot of people use JV or joint venture terminology in the speaker, author, coach space. But realistically, many joint ventures only promote for you once because you don't treat them like a real relationship. So whereas a salesperson constantly has to be on a hamster wheel, running for the rest of their life, finding new prospects to sell to, if you do not have a formal strategy for your strategic relationships, you are going to be on that hamster wheel, the same hamster wheel, right next to the other person until the end of your career, until the end of your life, running, trying to find new strategic partners because you haven't stopped and realized that you need to take better care. You need to be very strategic with your partnerships.
And how do you do that just using LinkedIn? For myself, I know that one of the reasons that I'm in your program is because I haven't utilized LinkedIn well, but especially like you were talking about with managing your relationships. Do you do it through just individual messages, through posts? What's the best way to communicate on LinkedIn?
Well, the first answer that popped into my head was, Mark, why don't you wait 2 weeks? Because during that webinar that you're enrolled in, we're going to go over in detail the answer to that question.
Okay.
However, I know that you have a viewing audience, and I want to serve you by serving your viewing audience. And without making this an entire 1 hour, training per se, let me simply say that once you map out your strategy for developing relationship currency or relationship capital, then you can utilize LinkedIn to make these individual relationship deposits with key professionals that by the time you're making these relationship deposits with these individuals, either offline or online, when you ask to take a withdrawal from this ATM that says your relationship currency, you actually have currency in there. All too often, people remember my 5-step system: message, market, media, movement, and monetize. Well, all too often, people are making the mistake and they're going straight to trying to monetize the relationship. They're going straight to trying to monetize the relationship. And that's as offensive as meeting someone at a mastermind saying, "Oh, hey, Mark, I understand that you're in this industry. How big is your email list and will you promote for me?"
Yes.
Right? Look at my eyes. Whoa, slow down. I'm much more about the relationship than I am about the transaction. You appear to be about the transaction. Therefore, you're not congruent with my business philosophy. So that's a red flag. That's a red flag when someone tries to expedite the monetizing of relationships.
Beautiful. And I know you said that you were going to give us 3 out of the 10 different types of relationships. So we've got the advocate, the Rambo advocate, and the reporter. Was there one more that you were going to share?
Would you like me to share one more?
Of course.
So we've got advocate Rambo, we've got advocate reporter, and we've got advocate recon, RECON. It's a military term that stands for reconnaissance. So basically, I categorize people in my professional network as advocates recon when they have the feet on the street, right? When they're on the front lines of going to all of these live seminars, workshops, and events. When they're on the front lines of going to many masterminds in our industry. When they're on the front line of attending amazing Google Hangouts like this Inspired Messenger show that you, Mark Porteous, are hosting today. And so these people have access, ready, quick access, top of mind as to what's going on in the industry today. Therefore, I can tap into them for reconnaissance that saves me minutes, if not hours, if not weeks of research, finding that information myself.
Beautiful. Very good. So you gave us some great tips on how to use your profile, and then on networking. And I know we don't have a lot of time, and I still want you to be able to tell us about the gift that you're giving everyone. Can you tell us a little bit about the last part, the campaign? And I know that that's part of our call tonight, so I'm really looking forward to it. And I don't want to let all the cat out of the bag, but maybe you can at least give us some idea about how we convert. Because that, for me, I've got a relatively large following on LinkedIn, but haven't really gotten clients from it or anything else.
Right. Absolutely. So thank you for keeping me on track. So basically, building the ultimate profile is step 1. Building the ultimate network is step 2. And building the ultimate conversion campaign is step 3 of the 3-step success system for leveraging LinkedIn for speakers, authors, coaches, workshop, and seminar leaders. So again, step 1 is building this landing page, being the host of your booth at this business expo. Step 2 is building this network, this army of advocates that ultimately drives traffic to your booth or your landing page, i.e. your LinkedIn profile. And step 3 is how do you cultivate and nurture those relationships with the people that have come to your booth so that they're compelled to take action on your behalf. And realistically, of all the steps, that is the most detailed step. It's the most overlooked step, because people make the mistake of assuming that just because they have relationships, that they know how to manage those relationships and they know how to compel people to action. Well, if they did know how to, convert their current connections into paying clients or into advocates from a promotional partner perspective or a joint venture perspective, the International Coach Federation wouldn't be reporting that the average income is only $47,000 a year, right? I mean, the National Speaker Association also reports, I believe their number is $48,000 a year. Excuse me, I think ICF is $37,000 a year, and National Speaker Association, the average income is only $48,000 a year. And the reason why these people have hit those plateaus is they haven't realized that passion alone is not enough. Passion alone is not enough. Inspiration alone is not enough. And that's why Mark was so keen to pull together the Inspired Messengers Network and the Inspired Messengers Show and pull together marketing experts such as myself that are congruent with my message, that are truly authentic, and that are consciously aware, that realize that my goal is to empower inspired messengers, emerging speakers, authors, and coaches, so that they realize that there is a process, a sequence to follow. Build the ultimate profile, build the ultimate network, and then master the tactics and techniques to convert those connections into paying clients or advocates.
And not to hold on to that bone too tightly, but is there something simple that we can do about the campaign, or do you have to have the whole strategy in order to convert? Is there something simple that we can do? Like for me, just changing my profile has helped me to get more partners, and that's something I've taught. But is there something that we can do as far as, is there a call to action button somewhere on LinkedIn where we can say, here, call me to schedule an appointment, or here, call me to hire me?
Okay, well, let's put it this way. Do you believe that your viewing audience would like to shorten their sales cycle and increase their conversion?
Absolutely.
Okay, so LinkedIn has 3 times the visitor to lead conversion ratio than Facebook and Twitter combined. 3 times the visitor to lead conversion ratio than Facebook and Twitter combined. So as a result, if you want to convert your connections, your current LinkedIn connections, the first recommendation that I would make is pay attention to your profile, right? Which is step 1. The second, you've already accomplished because you've got some people in your network. And in order to convert people into paying clients or advocates, you need to engage them. I'm not skirting the issue, Mark. It's just that we don't have a lot of time. However, I want your viewing audience and your listening audience to grab their pen and paper and write down that they need to engage their current connections on a daily or weekly basis. Engage with them by commenting on their LinkedIn posts. And that is the first step to a very intricate yet proven sequence to follow that is a part of my relationship routine that I teach my clients.
And that works for me. The engagement is one of the main things that I look for, whether it's through my mailing list, through my Facebook, and yet I don't do it with LinkedIn. And so I can totally see how that piece is missing. And just the engagement sparks a conversation, which can all by itself, that's a huge piece. So thank you for giving us that to know for a while. And then before we go, can you tell us a little bit about the process of receiving this gift and what's included and how we can benefit from the free offer that you're giving us?
Sure, absolutely. First and foremost, let me bring our attention back to how we started this interview today. Mark was kind enough to read my very long bio, but to be honest with you, my bio and my experience, it's rather irrelevant to you right now. It really is. I understand that I'm bold by saying that my experience is irrelevant to you right now. And the reason why I say that is because this interview today and my relationship that I choose, that I hope that you choose to continue after this viewing, that we continue to build upon this foundation. I shared with you as much as possible on how my experience is relevant to you, because about 8 years ago, I looked and I said, I want to be on stage and I want to be at the top of this speaker, author, coaching industry. And it took me 3 years of trial and error, of working very, very hard, and I finally got to the top of the speaker, author, coaching industry. And therefore, people in my network are rewarded, my clients are rewarded by this consolidated experience, and I've extracted it into very affordable and very clear and concise programs to teach you. There we go. I'm pointing right at the viewer, to teach you what your ultimate network looks like and how you can achieve your point B, how you can achieve your ideal outcome. So as a result of my experience, I've given as much as possible, as much content as possible, as much eye-opening insight as possible during this interview today. However, I have said that I'm much more about the relationships than I am about the transactions. So I'm not interested in selling you, the viewer, anything. I'm interested in keeping this conversation going. That's all we've had. We've had a conversation today between you and me. We've had a conversation, and I'd like to keep that conversation going. So as a way to entice you and encourage you to keep that conversation going with me, I'm happy to gift you for free a special report called 3 Ways to Fill Your Workshops and Webinars Using LinkedIn. Let me see if I have it right here. Oh, I do not have it handy right now. However, it is a 20-page quick read special report that teaches you 3 ways to fill your workshops and webinars using LinkedIn. And I'm going to gift that to you. And all you have to do is send me a personal email, and in the subject line, say, let's keep the conversation going. Right? Let's have some fun with this. I don't want to send you to an informal and cold opt-in page. I don't want or need your email address. I want to keep a personal connection going. I want to keep our conversation going because Mark was kind enough to have me today so that we invested our time with the goal of your success in mind. So I'd like you, immediately after you view this recording, to go to your email and send an email to TR@TRGarland.com. And let me quickly write that down.
And it's also on your screen. So if you're listening to the recording, you may not, obviously you're not going to see it, but if you're watching the video, you can see his name there, TR@TRGarland.com. And I'll show that to you again.
There we go. So please send me a personal message to TR@TRGarland.com. That's TR@TRGarland.com. Send me a message in the subject line that says, let's keep this conversation going. And in the body of the message, say, Mark sent me, just M-A-R-K, Mark sent me. And I will send you free, within 24 hours, the special report called 3 Ways to Fill Your Workshops and Webinars Using LinkedIn. So that's my gift to you. So please, let's keep this conversation going. Allow me to share my expert insight beyond this 45 or 60-minute interview. I'm a real person who's got real experience in an industry that you are looking at succeeding at, and I would welcome to fulfill that role of being your mentor.
Well, TR, I really appreciate the information that you shared, and I'm really glad that we do have our relationship and look forward to expanding that and continuing to learn from you. Is there anything else that you would like to share before we say goodbye? Is there any last words that you want to impart with us?
Absolutely. Thank you for giving me the opportunity. I simply, again, want to recap many of the points that we discussed. The first point that I brought up was that this interview today, it's not about me and it's not about Mark, respectfully. It's about you, the viewing audience. And so I applaud Mark for inviting me to invest my time so I could share some of my expert insight. The real successful people in the speaker, author, and coaching industry realize that the difference between their success or failure is insider information, right? The difference between success or failure in our industry is insider information. And what Mark is doing is pulling industry insiders onto his Inspired Messenger show and allowing us to share our insider information. Now, you're not going to be successful. Again, forgive me for being bold by saying this, but you're not going to be successful unless you implement this insider information. So that's one of the concepts that we covered. The second concept that we covered was 5 steps to monetizing your message. Step 1, message, market, media, movement. That's the important one, movement. And 5 is monetize. Where people are failing today is they're going straight for the monetization of their message. They're trying to monetize their relationships very, very quickly, and it's offending people in today's conscious business environment. With that said, the third concept we spoke about was the revenue is in the relationships, and the relationships are on LinkedIn. Yes, if you're a conscious entrepreneur, if you deal with spiritual concepts or energy work or holistic practitioner or law of attraction stuff, forgive me for making this comment, but if you believe that you are not using LinkedIn because you don't think that your ideal audience is there, well, I call bullshit. There, I said it. I call bullshit. And the reason is because 350 million people are on LinkedIn today. I happen to have some of the world's top energy healers, law of attraction experts, conscious entrepreneurs, and spiritual entrepreneurs and healers as my clients today, and they're getting success using LinkedIn, following my proven strategies. So the revenue is in the relationships, and the relationships are on LinkedIn. And then we ended up talking about step 1, building the ultimate profile. Step 2, building the ultimate network. And step 3, building the ultimate conversion campaign. And that was the 3-step success system to leveraging LinkedIn as a speaker, author, and coach. And then we talked about some of the mistakes people make on LinkedIn. And the truth of the matter is, this is a summary. So the number 1 mistake most speakers, authors, coaches make when using LinkedIn is they don't pay attention to their profile. They do not pay attention to their profile. And if you did, you would remodel your profile. Then you would go out there and build your professional network with your ideal advocates. And then ultimately, you would follow a proven system, which is a campaign to convert those connections into paying clients or an army of advocates. So there we have it. I've encapsulated all of the concepts that we've spoken about. But at the end of the day, the revenue is in the relationships. The revenue is in the relationships. So as you can see right there on your screen, woo, there we go. Building the ultimate network. Building the ultimate network. If you would like me as your mentor to continue to give you valuable insight on how you can build your own ultimate network, your own army of advocates that will help you achieve your goals faster and easier, then please reach out to me directly at trgarland.com and simply say, Mark sent me. Let's keep the conversation going. So I'm happy that you invited me, Mark, onto this show. I know you've had some amazing guests in the past, and I trust and I'm confident that the value that I delivered to your audience today was not only a thumbs up, but a double thumbs up, because I'm a real person who has real experience that really cares about inspired messengers.
Well, certainly your passion shows through, your knowledge and experience comes out, and yeah, you definitely gave us a lot. So I'll give you 2 thumbs up myself. I'm very grateful for you sharing your time and your wisdom with us, and look forward to hearing from you, the other inspired messengers out there, more about what you'd like to hear from LinkedIn, what you took away from this. I would love to hear your biggest takeaways and how you are going to implement them, how you're going to take action. Like we were talking about, the importance of movement. What movement are you going to do now to start implementing some of the things that we talked about on this call? So if you want to email me, that'd be great, mark@markporteous.com. You can see my spelling of my name right there on the video, MARKPORTEOUS. And again, I really look forward to hearing what you're going to do so that you can be what you want to be, and sharing your message. And TR, again, I'm just very, very grateful for everything that you've shared with me today and everything that you've shared with me over the years, and look forward to our relationship building on and on. Thank you. And thank you all. Again, the light in me respects and appreciates the light in you. Namaste.